What I'm about to share with you is very personal, and it is also very controversial. Plastic surgery. There are many people who are in favor of it, and then there are many people who are against it. I'm sure there are going to be a mixed bag of reactions in my comment section, and I'm completely okay with that because I welcome all feedback. So let me set the stage for you. 2017. I had just graduated college, and this was when Instagram was really starting to be used on a consistent basis by its users. This is when we could now have access to more strangers in the world who are also on the platform. The Explore page was really in the spotlight with Instagram around this time. And as you all know, the Explore page is an easy way to see people that you've never seen before. Click on their profile, follow them if you want to, or don't follow them. But the point is that it's about exposure. The Explore page is a trap because if you allow yourself to, you can scroll for hours and hours on there. So the point that I'm trying to make is that with the Explore page and with the uptick of Instagram users, especially celebrities and influencers, you are more exposed to what I like to call the IG baddies, okay? IG baddies are Instagram models. So they don't have a background in modeling on a runway at a high fashion designer show in Paris or Milan or New York, but they look beautiful. Almost too beautiful, too perfect. The makeup in 2017 and just in that general time frame, we're talking about heavily baked face, airbrushed, eyebrows very defined, eye makeup, you got the winged eyeliner, you have heavy contouring, highlighting, lips are extremely emphasized, not just through the lipstick and the lip liner and the lip gloss, but through the lip fillers, okay? I do believe that the lip fillers really started to take off around this time frame, 2017, maybe even a couple years before that. But this was becoming heavily popularized. And Instagram was playing a pivotal role in this. Not only was it lip filler, but it was also BBLs, okay? Getting your butt injected and it's looking perfectly proportioned and it sticks out on the side and you're getting, your boobs done. The face, the side profile is perfectly symmetrical. The front is also symmetrical. And a lot of it is not only contributed to the contouring of the makeup, but to rhinoplasty, to chin implants, to fillers, not only in the lip, but, in the cheeks, or there's Botox happening and, the eyes are being lifted up because they want to look more cat eye. There's just a lot going on at this time, okay? And as someone who had just graduated college, I'm still young. And I'm in my early 20s. So my mind, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say that I don't feel like I had a sense of direction and I was easily influenced by people, easily peer pressured in a regard. And I'm not talking about influence by people that I know in person. I'm talking about people that I'm seeing on Instagram. And I also remember during this time, Instagram became a way to showcase yourself. Even if you weren't someone who had a ton of followers, a huge audience, it was really important that you presented yourself to look cool, to look like your life was interesting and you had nice sense of fashion and you knew how to do your makeup. And I remember a lot of times I would go on my Instagram and I would look at my personal profile, like how I would view it as if I'm someone else. And I would nitpick at it, and I would be really critical of myself and say, oh, these pictures, they suck, like I need to delete them and start all over. And, I don't like my outfit here. I need to take more pictures, and I need to post more of myself in cool outfits, and I'm not posing right, or this picture is too basic, and it really started to mess with me. It consumed me, and I'm sure it consumed a lot of other people, because again, there's just too much being thrown at us at one time. It's overstimulating, and it's also providing that dopamine. It's just this weird contradictory back and forth ping-ponging of chemicals and feelings being released from the brain from this one app. With these Instagram models being more, I guess you want to say, normalized, I started to have a personal crisis, a little bit of body dysmorphia. As it is, I'm already someone who pays very close attention to every aspect of my body. I do struggle with health anxiety, so not only am I a hypochondriac who overthinks everything that happens to me on a physical level, but I'm also someone who will spend time analyzing how I look. And I think this was more prevalent for me during this time of just having graduated college. College is a time of experimenting and figuring out what you like, what you dislike, what type of clothing you want to wear, because you're not in high school anymore. You have a bit more freedom. On top of it, I was living in a big city, Chicago. And when you live in a city versus a town, you're more exposed to uniqueness. You're more exposed to people who are more brave in their self-expression, and maybe have a little bit more knowledge around fashion and what's trending, what music to listen to, what places to go to meet other interesting, unique people. I really started to fixate on these Instagram models, and I would look to specific models for inspiration. And I hesitate to call these people celebrities because they were definitely influencers, and even to this day I do categorize these people as influencers. I'm not going to say their names. If you know anything about pop culture, I'm sure you can put two and two together and figure out who I'm referring to. So, there was a group of these girls that really set the stage for this whole IG baddie movement. As much as it took a blow to my self-esteem to look at their profiles, to see what they were wearing, to see what their makeup looked like, to see what they were doing and what they were eating and what events they were attending, I couldn't stop myself. And I started to have this mental breakdown regarding my appearance. I would look at myself in the mirror and I would just nitpick at every little flaw. The biggest two physical characteristics that I focused on were my nose and my chin. My boobs, I would definitely also really criticize myself about. I would blame myself, even though I had no control over my size of my boobs, okay? That was completely genetic. I was just really hard on myself, and in general, I'm very much a perfectionist. Over the years, it has gotten much better, but during this fragile time of just graduating college, trying to figure out my career, not knowing, what friends I was going to have after college or relationships. I had barely dated when I was in college, so it's just a lot going on. I would look in the mirror, like I mentioned, and I would turn to the side, and I just felt my nose was so big. It was like a beak. It was just pointing out, and it was just taking over the rest of my face. And then my chin, I do have a longer chin, and then on top of it, I have a dimple in the middle, and that dimple is from my mother's side because she has it, her dad has it, and her grandpa had it. So the way that genes work, it's a 50-50 shot whether you're also going to inherit something that is more dominant. And I just so happen to inherit this chin dimple. Let me just clarify here. This wasn't the first time that I felt some type of way about my nose and my chin dimple, but I just want to say that it was more severe around this time. But when I was growing up, I was bullied for my chin dimple. I was bullied for being short, being petite, not having boobs. I mean, people used to just come at me from all different directions about my appearance. Obviously, now I know that when people point out, the way that you look physically, a lot of times it's rooted in envy and jealousy. They wish that they had a quality that you possess. And so instead of praising you and complimenting you, they insult you. Obviously, as you get older and you start to develop more, you take more notice to these attributes. Self-esteem and insecurities have been with me for a very long time. I would get on the phone with my mom and I would cry to her about my nose and my chin, and I would just tell her over and over that I really want to get rhinoplasty and a chin implant. My mom was very supportive. She understood why I felt the way that I felt, and she always told me that I have to do what is best for me. She would be there for me, but it's my decision at the end of the day. And she would also emphasize that I'm an adult, so she can't stop me from doing something like that. I made an appointment with a plastic surgeon in Chicago, and I did my research. I really looked at their websites, and I looked at the photos of previous work that they had done on other people, read the reviews, and I found one that I felt I resonated with and I trusted. So the plastic surgeon took pictures of all angles of my face, asked me questions about what type of procedures I wanted and what type of aesthetic or changes I was looking to make. And then I want to say about 3 days later, they emailed me with the before and after pictures. So they used some sort of photoshopping software to present to the client to show what you would ideally look like after the procedure. They also asked me about my ethnicity. They wanted to know what my ethnic background was made up of because they wanted to make sure that they kept the qualities of those ethnicities even after the surgery was done, which I thought was pretty interesting and pretty cool. After looking at the pictures, I now had to make the decision if I wanted to move forward with it. And if I did, I would have to put a deposit down, and then they would set up a date and time to have the actual surgery in a hospital. You were going to go under anesthesia. You were going to be put to sleep. With the nose job, they were just going to shave down more of the middle and top part and make it more of a hook. I don't have the pictures anymore that she sent me because this was from 2017, and I looked in my email and I couldn't find the email. But if I had it, I would show you what they actually sent to me. So shaving the nose down, and then the front would also look more slim. And then the chin, they were going to insert either silicone or Gore-Tex in like an actual piece into the chin. And so it would take away the chin dimple, and it would also, from the side profile, it would look more symmetrical to my nose, because after my nose is done, my chin, he said, was recessed. It goes more inward, it slants down. It was a little bit scary to hear this because not only am I getting one surgery, I'm getting another. I'm getting my chin. Okay, let me actually say, if you're any way triggered by medical procedure discussion, then maybe you skip past this. But if you're not, I'm just going to share with you really quickly what they would have to do. They would have to slice under the bottom of my chin, take some bone out, and then put in this silicone or Gore-Tex piece. And then they would stitch up my chin and it would stay there. And then with the nose, of course, they're going to break the nose and then they're going to, shave it down, cut some bone off. I really couldn't believe that I was probably going to go through with this. I was quoted on how much it would cost. It was about, I think, $11,000. Insurance doesn't cover it because it's not because you're physically ill, right? You're just doing a cosmetic procedure, so there's no reason for them to provide any sort of financial support to that. So I was going to have to shell out thousands of dollars to get this done. Mind you, I just graduated college, so I barely have any money. So not only did I start to kind of panic about the financial aspect, but then I was also freaking out about the surgery in of itself. I had never been put under anesthesia before. Knowing that they're going to alter my original physical features, and there's always a risk that the final result comes out botched. That's a huge factor in that. I've seen pictures of people who have gotten rhinoplasty, chin implants, or other plastic surgery procedures, and it turned out horrendous and they had to go back for a revision, and then sometimes that revision doesn't even turn out the way that they want it to, and then they're just more fucked up. So there's just a lot going through my head. But I also am like, I really want to get this done because I hate the way that I look. I hate how big my nose is. I hate how my chin is. I want to look attractive. I want to appeal to people. I want people to look at me and say, wow. Because I thought that's what was going to make me happy. I thought that if I looked a certain way, then I would have more opportunities presented to me. I would be respected. I would be treated kindly and with fairness. I would get more attention, period. I mean, why else would anyone get plastic surgery? Unless, of course, they're in a, God forbid, horrible accident where they need reconstructive surgery on their face or somewhere else on their body. But excluding that, when people willingly just decide, I want to get a procedure done because I don't like the way that this looks on my body, they're doing it because, one, they want to make themselves feel good, and two, they probably want other people to perceive them in a certain way. More often than not. Some people are just strictly like, no, I'm doing this for me. And I do believe that a huge part of me was also thinking that, because I felt like if I looked the way that I wanted to look, I would just feel better all around. I hesitated to respond to the surgeon's assistant about putting a deposit down. And it took me, I want to say, a couple of weeks before I responded back to her. And I just told her, I want to hold off for now. I'm just going to wait. I was sitting with myself and reflecting, and I was weighing the pros and cons, and I just felt that maybe I'm just being a little bit too impulsive, and I didn't really know what was going on. I ended up not going through with it because I just couldn't get past the anesthesia and the possibility that the surgeon would screw up my nose and my chin. It was also this weird grieving process where it's basically you're letting go of what you were born with. Once they shaved down my nose, once they put that chin implant in, my face is forever changed. The uniqueness of my face is gone. I now will look like everybody else. I'm just going to be another clone on Instagram. During this time, when the whole IG baddie aesthetic was really taking the stage, you started to see more and more women, specifically, get these procedures to look like someone that they saw on Instagram, bringing pictures of the aesthetic they're going for to the surgeon. I want to look like so-and-so, make me look like this. And these surgeons are able to do it to this day. I should embrace my natural qualities. I should embrace my natural features because They are what make me one of a kind. There is nobody else on this world who looks exactly like me. And if anything, I think it's more sexy and confident to embrace and love how you look. You can always accentuate certain features and wear makeup and dress in a way that you really resonate with. But you don't have to go to the extent of shaving your nose down and slicing your chin open and putting some random foreign object up in there because it's what everyone else on Instagram is doing. And in general, social media is so toxic. It pushes these unrealistic beauty standards out to people. And they lose themselves in the process. They become a shell of themselves because they're chasing after the next trending look. And then they do that look, and then a year later, that look is trending outwards, and people are going back to the natural. I don't know if you've noticed that, but around 2017 and even a few years after that, BBLs, getting your butt injected or fat transfers to your butt, those were really popularized. I would see a lot of women get these procedures, these high risk, dangerous, potentially fatal procedures done because it's for Instagram. It's for the likes, the comments, the views, the followers, the DMs from celebrities who see them and think they're attractive. Again, for a while, being heavily done up, having all of this work done on your body was what was deemed as attractive. But now you're starting to see celebrities who have gotten a lot of work done, and even influencers, reverting their procedures, dissolving their filler, taking out their silicone implants, and embracing what their original body was to the best of their abilities. Because, to be honest, once you get a procedure done, it always will stay in your body. From what I've read, I know that Botox tends to dissolve on its own and you have to keep getting refreshers of it, but with filler does stay in your body. It moves around, it migrates. Even if it's dissolved, your face is never the same. That's why I've never touched my lips. For a while, when this whole IG baddie or just Instagram model movement was occurring, I also thought maybe I should get my lips done. Maybe my lips are just too small, because at the time, big lips was in. Blown up, pillow puckered, inflated lips. And a lot of that also was this whole trend of looking racially ambiguous. I'm not trying to ruffle anyone's feathers or offend anyone here, but it's the freaking truth. A lot of what the work that was being done on these Instagram models was that of looking racially ambiguous. Even if they were a white woman, just completely to the core, they were getting procedures done that made them look like they were more mixed, that had other ethnicities, or that they were a specific ethnicity. And that's also horrible, because it was essentially using people's racial identity as a trend and something that is sought after because it's cool, because it's hot. And then now, like I said, women specifically are reverting back to their original ways of looking, because they're realizing that what's really respectable and what's really admirable is embracing the person that you are. You were born into this body. Why do you want to change it? And so I'm really glad that I never went through with getting lip filler or getting a nose job or a chin job. With lip filler, it would ruin my lips for the rest of my life. Even if it dissolved, my lips would never be the same. And not to toot my own horn or brag, but I do really like the way my lips look naturally. I have an upper lip and I have a bottom lip. And when I wear lip gloss and lipstick, it accentuates that even more. So there's no reason for me to do that. Why? that would just be too much on my face. You know what I'm saying? With the nose job and the chin job, look, I can't sit here and lie to you. There are some days, for sure, some bad days where I'm like, damn, my nose is so big. Like, I'll make a YouTube video of myself vlogging, and there'll be a scene where maybe I turn more to the side and I can see my nose just sticking out. But you know what? I love my nose and I love my chin. It makes me one of a kind, like I mentioned earlier. I'm sure there are people out there who see my side profile and think I have a big nose, or your chin is long and you have a dimple in the middle, and maybe it's a turn off to them, but fuck those people, because I know there are people out there who are attracted to those unique qualities, and they aren't seeking someone who has done a bunch of work to their body. They're not someone who is very shallow-minded. And I'm not trying to offend anyone who's gotten work done, because that's your prerogative, that's your business, and you have to do what's best for you, whatever makes you happy. But I'm not going to make myself feel bad because I don't have work done and I don't look a certain way and I'm not the conventionally attractive person that you see on Instagram or other social media platforms. This is me. This is me. And if you don't like it, that's cool. No biggie. I'm not your cup of tea. Keep it moving. Keep it pushing. I think when you get older, too, you start to embrace and love yourself for who you are, inside and out. As someone who just turned 30, I feel like a light switch just went off in me when I turned 30, like to the day I was, the day of my birthday, when I turned 30, it was just this switch came on, and I just don't care anymore. If you don't like me, bye. But I'm really starting to love the person that I am, and even with the way that I dress, it's not super feminine. It's definitely outside of the box, a little bit non-traditional, but fashion is important to me too, and I don't want to be like everybody else. I'm not saying that the people that would be categorized as everybody else are doing something wrong, but it's just not my cup of tea. And I'm someone that likes to experiment when it comes to clothing, and I'm not going to stop being who I am just to get approval from other people. And at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to when you go on social media, is people are seeking validation from complete strangers. And instead of focusing on doing the inner work and spending time alone and embracing who you are to the core, you're settling and you're succumbing to societal pressures. And, if you really want to build your confidence, it's about radical acceptance and knowing that there are people out there who are going to like you and who are going to understand you. And even if there aren't people out there, it's still going to be okay, because you have you. You are all you have when it's all said and done. There are other ways to boost your self-esteem. Off the top of my head, I can think of different things that I've done to help me get to this point. And like I said, I still have my bad days. But for the most part, it's getting better. Slowly but surely. Going to the gym is phenomenal for me, mentally and physically. I feel like I'm getting the body that I've always wanted just from lifting weights and being consistent with that. Journaling, phenomenal, because it's an outlet. It's a way to get my thoughts out. And then when you reread what you wrote in your journal, you see, okay, this is what I need to work on. Okay, look at the progress I made. Look at what I was at, or look what I was doing 6 months ago, and now I'm here, and wow, I'm proud of myself. Eating healthy, getting into a good skincare routine, meditating, going to therapy if you can afford it. I know it's expensive, and so I understand if you can't. Spending time off of social media is extremely crucial when it comes to building up your self-esteem. If you don't discipline how much time you're spending scrolling on these apps, then you will get yourself into a rut, into a slump. I think also at the end of the day, as long as you know that you love who you are, then other people will sense that as well. You just have to remember that there is nobody like you. And there's someone out there who is looking for someone like you. Not that you should be always prioritizing looking for somebody who's going to say, "Yes, you're the person I'm looking for. Yes, I'm so glad I found you." But just know that there are people in this world who want to meet someone like you. At the end of the day, I want to be transparent about these topics because I want to help other people out there who are struggling with their self-esteem. You have to understand that you're not alone in this. It's easy to feel like the victim and to believe that you're the only one going through these emotions, but I can assure you that you're not. Social media has become even more of just a toxicity to our society, our world. It is used more now than ever before. And I'm not saying that social media should be the blame for all of it, but I do believe that it's playing a huge role in this. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment below your thoughts. If you haven't already, subscribe. It means the absolute world to me. And that's all I've got. Bye.